in a sport now where it's about possessions and it's about controlling the ball and getting more threes, when I watch Lonzo Ball play, I know a lot of people are upset with his dad. I just think he is now he may not be as athletic as an Andrew Wiggins, but I cannot envision the Lakers passing on Ball, regardless of if they like D'Angelo Russell, because I think this guy's a game changer. What are you hearing?
I agree with you from what I'm hearing and from what I see. I went to the UCLA-Washington game
last night. So
met LeVar Ball.
Oh, what was that like?
I went up to him. I introduced myself. He said, I know who you are. I got a list. I got a list.
Of what?
I said, I've been talking about you on TV, so I figure I should introduce myself. But he was a nice guy. We had a good little brief conversation. I hope to be in touch with him. But Lonzo, I wanted to see Markelle Fultz, right? Fultz is the guy for Washington. He didn't play. I wanted to see those two go at it because there are people in the NBA who love Fultz. I've even heard more that love Fultz that would pick him over Ball. Now, that's just the ones I've talked to.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would have a problem, though, when I read a mock draft that has the Lakers at 3 passing on Lonzo Ball.
The Lakers won't pass on him. In one, he's from L.A. 2, I mean, we won't even talk about his basketball ability. But 3, Magic Johnson. Magic was this type of point guard. I'm not comparing this guy to Magic, saying he's as good as Magic. But Magic was a pass-first guy who didn't care about how many shots, didn't care about his statistics, his points. He just wanted to win, and that's what Ball is. And after watching him last night, I haven't even seen a lot of Markelle Fultz. I would take Ball. I would look at Fultz just to analyze it. But no turnovers. And the first half, he took like 2 or 3 shots and controlled the game. And one thing I noticed about him, and I talked to, there was a lot of NBA people there, a lot of scouts. Luke Walton was there. D'Angelo Russell was actually there too. But a lot of agents, everybody was there. I talked to a lot of people, and the thing I said to him, he advances the ball on the pass. Like, he would get the outlet pass maybe at 3/4 court, and it take maybe a dribble, maybe not, and kick it up to an open man at half court or at the other 3-point line or something like that. And we've all gotten used to seeing point guards dribble it so much. And I was actually, at one point, I got a little frustrated. I was like, I want to see him dribble it up and make a nice, fancy play. But he's making the right basketball play. He's just advancing the ball, doesn't over-dribble, doesn't try to make the fantastic play, although he'll make some of those. He's the truth. And wherever he goes, I would love to see him in Minnesota with those 3 scores. Because he wouldn't care about, and he shoots it well enough where you have to be honest. He's not like Ricky Rubio or the Lakers, because he would bring that talent together and you would really have something. But I've gotten to the point, I think, where if I'm any team, I'm taking him because he's going to make guys
This
better.
is what I said. If Andrew Luck was available in the NFL, I don't care if you have Aaron Rodgers. You draft Andrew Luck and you figure out the rest.
Yep.
I think the kid is special. Now, I'm not saying, I understand if you take somebody else. I guess my thing was, anybody doing a mock draft and thinks this kid goes past the Lakers at 3, you're right. No. Magic's at these games. The Lakers are at these games. This kid's the talk of L.A. And L.A. is not a huge college basketball town. It's an NBA city.
Yep.
And this kid's the talk of the town. I watch, and I've seen a bunch of highlights, and my takeaway is you just don't find guys like this.
No, especially today, because most of the great Markelle Fultz, Dennis Smith, and NC State, they want to shoot. Now they can pass, especially Fultz.
They're scorers.
But they're scorers, yeah. And this guy, he could play with Isaiah Thomas in Boston. Like, if Boston gets that pick, they could take him. Now, they might look at a Josh Jackson, who's, I think, 6'8", a different position. But he could play next to Isaiah, and I think they'd flourish.
I think great players can play next to anybody. I always said this with Ben Simmons. When people said he's not going to go 1, I'm like, I don't care. You draft him. And if you have to put him at the point guard, then you just put Ben Simmons at the point guard. You just get him in the room. And when Magic Johnson came in, they said he couldn't shoot. I remember this.
Oh, yeah.
People say, I can't shoot. And I'm like, okay, I just watched. And that's when you used to watch every college basketball game. You and I grew up like that.
College was huge.
It was huge. I'm watching Magic play 20 college games. I'm like, there had never been a player that looked like him. Like, there was never a center like Wilt before Wilt. There was no Larry Bird before Larry Bird, a 6'10" guy, best shooter in the league.
Shooting threes,
Okay, and finally, Kevin Durant. Can I show the picture of Kevin in a wheelchair? So I'm supposed to believe in 10 to 12 weeks, this guy is locking up LeBron James. I'll say it again. I don't think the Warriors are winning the West.
Not just because of the wheelchair.
No, but that image is strong.
The image didn't look great.
It does not look great. First of all, build a wheelchair for a guy over 5'4".
Yeah, exactly.
He just wanted a ride.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just had, your knees messed up. I get the wheelchair, but it doesn't look great. Talking to some people,
Ooh, I wanna hear
and
this.
everybody's just speculating at this point.
Right.
But guys look at it and say, okay, 4 weeks. I think you made this point. Evaluate it in 4 weeks. That doesn't mean you're back in 5 or 6 or whatever. And then after that, how good is he once he gets back? Remember, Steph came back last year and he played, but he was not the same guy.
Didn't have the same burst.
Now, that said, I still think they will. I mean, I'm picking them still to come out of the West. I still think they have to be the favorite because we act like now the cupboard's bare. I mean, we're forgetting about Steph and Clay and Draymond, and they got some decent role players. But it's made it more intriguing. San Antonio.
I'll tell you.
I think Houston now is interesting.
I actually think Oklahoma City's interesting because by adding Gibson, they've got size.
How far you think they could go?
I don't think they'd beat Golden State or San Antonio in the first round. But if they could move up,
which I think they will,
I think they can win a series.
Yeah.
They've got size. They're very good at home. They've got a dynamic superstar.
And they've got guys who, Steven Adams, Taj Gibson, who've been through some playoff rounds.
They're big.
Rob Robertson.
Yeah, they're big physical guys.
Yeah, the team they've been disappointing me for a while now, the Clippers.
I'm done.
I think
I'm
it's
done.
getting to a point, I'm going to say this. Considering their talent, Kristine, I don't know what she's going to think. But considering their talent, right?
Yes.
Top 5 point guard, top 5 power forward, top 5 center, great shooter in J.J. Redick.
It's been a disappointment.
It's becoming embarrassing. I think it's becoming embarrassing. A guy who's considered an elite coach, I think it's becoming embarrassing. They're 2-7 against the top 3 teams in the West. And you should be a factor. I'm not saying you have to win the West. But can you be a factor?
They're not a factor.
That's embarrassing.